And I'm very excited to present the second presentation of the day by our student Ricardo Guerra. The title is called "A Bird, a Landscape, the Sun, My Mother, Whichever Branch." Um, Ricardo, as a committee member, faculty Berklee faculty, Jess Morin and Francisco Mela, we welcome both of you here. Thank you for being with us. I had the really beautiful pleasure to be his advisor all this semester, and I would like to read a little bit about Ricardo before we start presenting. Ricardo Guerra is a Cuban-American drummer, percussionist, composer, and educator based in Miami, Florida. As a recent graduate of Oberlin Conservatory of Music, Ricardo had the privilege of learning from the collaborating with numerous acclaimed artists, including Maria Schneider, Petros Klampanis, Anna Cohen, Billy Drew, among others. Most notably, he opened for Terence Blanchard at the Oberlin premiere of A Tale of God's Will, a requiem for Katrina, where he played alongside frequent collaborators Emmar Adomit on bass, Ben Cruz on guitar, forming the trio Beauty House. Drawing from elements of rock, jazz, and Cuban style, his music offers a rhythmically dynamic atmosphere of joy and freedom, creating an avenue for improvisation and creativity along the way. His latest release of Dream and Reality is an EP that explore this idea in three original compositions and a lively rendition of a Carla Bley piece. Ricardo, it's a pleasure to have you here and I'm very excited about your presentation. So go ahead.
Everybody, thank you. And thank you so much for being here as I present my 2021 graduate culminating experience project. A bird, a landscape, the sun, my mother, whichever branch. The poetry of Samuel Feijó, identity and creativity in motion. Now, just a brief overview of how I'll be presenting everything. First, I'll have some background information on my project, my mission and inspiration, some background on Samuel Feijó, the writer and artist whose work I've translated and set to music. Then we'll move on to the poetry and music, which will first be narrated in Spanish with English subtitles, and then played in its musical form with English lyrics. Each piece of music will be paired with artwork by Feijó himself, as well as a variety of artists from diverse cultural backgrounds, whose works convey universal themes that run parallel to the poetry. Lastly, I'll have my closing remarks. So, my purpose and motivation in this project, I'm looking to explore my bilinguality as a Latino immigrant, as a Cuban immigrant specifically, by translating Feijó's work into English and striving for as much authenticity and artistic input as the original Spanish text. I'm also hoping to explore my bi-musicality in traditional Cuban music and in contemporary improvisation within Black American music. By weaving these elements together, I hope to gain a broader musical perspective and a deeper understanding of my own dual cultural identity as a Cuban American, hoping to find a new paradigm of expression for myself outside of this Latin jazz label, which is too often used for jazz musicians of my background, but does not always accurately describe the music we create. Lastly, I'm striving in this project for the same imaginative energy Feijó poured into his work in order to find a common thread in the process of translation, creative writing, composition, and improvisation. Now, some brief biographical info on Samuel Feijó, the subject and lyricist for my project. He was a self-taught artist and writer, having had no formal training as a painter, yet his works have been exhibited all over Europe and Latin America. Interestingly, his writing has only been published in Cuba, Mexico, and Spain, and has never been translated to English, which makes this a particularly exciting project for me. In his youth, he spent time in the US working in factories and translating for fun works by Edgar Allan Poe, Walt Whitman, T.S. Eliot, and D.H. Lawrence, among others. He returned to Cuba and started working as a folklorist of sorts, traveling around the island and compiling oral traditions, songs, stories, and local myths, which were published in his magazine Signos, a major platform for creative and and fringe individuals, writers and artists in the fringe arts of Cuba. He was a member of Orígenes, a small literary group that was part of the greater artistic vanguardia in Cuba. The vanguardia movement sought to move away from old European aesthetics and find new ones rooted in indigenous and Afro-Cuban folklore, also informed by the contemporary arts of Paris, New York, and Barcelona. Vivir en la punta de un guiro, to live on the tip of a guiro, as in the instrument. His art, like his poetry, can be at times funny, at times dark, at times cosmic, and at times earthy, while always encouraging you to live on the tip, on the edge of something visceral, transcendental, and something very human.
La muerte. Cuando siento al tiempo pasar, no hago nada. La muerte se sienta a mi lado y me da un tabaco. Tú has dormido en esas alas secas.
Have you slept on those dry wings? On those dry
a mí me buscaba. Un pedazo de periódico provinciano donde todavía se publican poesías, buenas, aquelárricas y reguliches, se soltó de la mano de un campesino que venía de una carnicería lejana y rodando o revolando fue a parar a una maleza donde cayó cerca de mi vista, asaz estática, mostrándome la cara letrada donde se soleaba y venteaba la poesía en su peculiar forma. Me atrajo la hojiña curiosa, jalé el papel y leílo y quedé. Era un breve tronco inmortal de William Blake. Eternidad. Quien así encadenare una alegría, malogrará la vida alada. Pero quien la alegría besare en su aleteo, vive en el alba de la eternidad. Chupo mi mango con una mano y con la otra me meto en el bolsillo de la camisa el poema manchado de sangre de res. Me buscaba en los siglos.
I was attracted to that curious little page. I took it, read it, and stood still. It was A Brief Immortal Trunk by William Blake. Eternity. He who binds to himself a joy does the winged life destroy. But he who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. He who binds to himself a joy does the winged life destroy. But he who kisses the joy as it flies lives in eternity's sunrise. I suck on my mango with one hand, and with the other I took the poem stained by beef blood in my shirt pocket. It was me he sought through centuries. It was me he sought through centuries. It was me he sought through centuries.
Un ave, un paisaje, el sol, mi madre, cualquier rama. Un amor, un paisaje, el sol, mi madre, cualquier rama, me dicen, adiós, soy lejano y misterioso. Y mis sentidos y la noche y los astros dan en su viaje eterno una señal profunda. No quiero irme sin haber bebido mansamente la sangre de mis sueños. Esta poesía de sueños, ¿por qué se me hace como agua de segura niñez? No es mía, es de celestes refrescaderos. Es un eco que choca en mi frente de la aurora esperada. Desnudo hasta la muerte está mi pensamiento, en su puerta silenciosa, vestido sin terror para esos ojos. Absorto quedo ante una luminosa ventana de girasoles, sintiendo crecer extrañas melodías.
A landscape, the sun, my mother, whichever branch say to me goodbye. I'm mysterious and distant, and the senses and the night and the stars give in their eternal voyage design. I don't wanna leave without having drunk calmly and gently. Whichever bird speaks to me.
Looking back, this was a huge process of discovery and experimentation. I have never composed this much music in the span of 1 year, and a lot more came out than what ended up on the record. This was the first time I have worked with lyrics, and it totally opened up my melodic sense in so many ways. I had to adopt different methods of creation as each piece required something different in its DNA. As a drummer, the music took me to new places I had not explored before, like free improvisation, which is still quite new to me. Most importantly, this has been a search for a more personal sound and a more defined purpose as an artist. What do I like, not like in my music, in music in general? How can I be 100% myself, 1 foot in Cuban culture and 1 foot in American culture, and communicate art in a direct and natural way, free from the boxes of style, technique, and patterns? And how can I make human connections across cultures and across generations? Now, an important note about Samuel Feijóo, something that can't go unmentioned, especially since we take pride in social justice advocacy here at Berklee Global Jazz Institute. In 1965, Samuel Feijóo wrote in El Mundo, a state magazine for Cuba, condemning the LGBT community, gay men in particular. Among other things he says, he wrote, "No homosexual represents the revolution, which is a matter of men, of fists, and not of feathers." His views reflect the culture of machismo that existed in much of Latin America and the rest of the world at the time. And it was a direct comment on the Castro government's campaign against the LGBT community. I, of course, do not side with these views, and I was deeply disappointed to find this, especially so late in my process of putting everything together. But I did feel it was necessary to share, as I do not want to create any kind of idealized image of any man. And I'm happy to discuss this further in the questions. And last but not least, thank you to Berklee Global, all the faculty here, all the friends I've made. I want to thank everybody who played on the recordings, as well as Daniel Babai for engineering and Eli Heath for producing and mixing this. I want to give a special thank you to Marco Piñataro, who was such a helpful advisor in this whole process, 3 semesters. I want to thank Danilo Perez. I want to thank Chase Morin, Francisco Mela, my private instructor, Alan Chase, and Edmar Colon, who all had some part in helping me come to this conclusion and this process and this new beginning. Lastly, I want to thank my mom and dad. You brought me to the US, and I would not be playing this music if not for all your sacrifices. So thank you so much. And that wraps up my presentation.
Wow, Ricardo, congratulations, really. I'm really so happy of what you presented here, and I would like to start the second part of the presentation with comments and questions. And I would like to start with our very special guest, Maestro Francisco Mela, here. And Francisco, you're been a panelist, but I think also is PI teacher, right, during this year?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a lot part in this process as well. So welcome. We welcome your comments and questions at this moment.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here supporting Ricardo. My name is Francisco Mela. I'm a private instructor of Ricardo. Thank you especially to you, Marco, because I remember Ricardo calling me, contacting me, mentioning to me that you recommend me to him or him to me, either way. And so it was very touchable because I was like really emotional, touched by the idea of supporting or taking part of Ricardo's process in this manage. And so thank you very much, Marcos. But now speaking about Ricardo and the process, to me it's very special. Why? Because it's been a long time that I haven't connect with a Cuban drummer with his vision. When Ricardo approached me, I thought I was gonna be like any other regular Cuban drummer, talking about something like the most regular thing, Cuban music. But no, Ricardo really surprised me because he came with a wide and open vision and trying to connect the avant-garde music with a present music or the music of the present today. And when I heard him playing, and he chose me the project, I thought that I don't know anybody in Cuba that has been doing this yet. And Ricardo, seriously, I would love to introduce you to the Cuba Jazz Festival because they would love to hear this. And even with the music that I heard, I think that we're gonna talk later. But yeah, for everybody who is here, Ricardo really got to the point of what he wants to present, and even beyond, because in his class, I mean, in his lesson, he always was like really open to learn and absorb from anyone who he mentioned, like Alan Chase, Emma, Danilo, and I believe that this is the result, Ricardo. It's really sweet, really incredible. It's beyond what I was expecting, believe me. because I know that we've been working on this music, but now the whole the poems and the the whole history, the story about Feijo behind that music that you record is really incredible. And I'm here to not to support you in this moment. It's not to keep supporting you for now in the future. Congratulations, Ricardo.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mela. That means so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you so much, Francisco. I also know that Ricardo Chase has been not only playing your project, but also helping you with advising on the music and other things. So Chase, would you like to comment?
Hey, Ricardo. Wow.
Hi, Chase.
Wow. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your presentation had a really unique vibe. Like, and I mean this in the most complimentary way. Like, it really had an atmosphere that drew me in. Everything you did with the visuals, the music, the speaking, the words, it came together in this really beautiful, like I had an experience. You know what I mean? Like this was not just a presentation for school. This was like something I would experience in a museum or something, you know. That's something really powerful. And I just want to say, it's been so great working with you. You know, you were in my avant-garde class, right? And I've seen you develop incredibly with your composition skills. You know, one of the things that we do in the class is really break down a lot of our conceptions of what composition and sound and music needs to be, and kind of rethink a lot of things. And you delved in so deeply and connected in your own personal way. You found your own path through that, which I think has created a really beautiful fingerprint for yourself. That's amazing. I really love your compositions. And as I told you, like I'm down to play that music anytime, because it's so inviting and free, but also specific. You know, it's something very special that I can't wait to see how you continue developing that over the years. And the one thing that I'm also super excited for, and just a thing to leave you with to think about, is that same process that I've seen you doing so deeply into the composition. Don't forget about the composition of the drums too. You know, like how do you, because I've seen you transform so much as a composer and as a player completely. And I can't wait to see how you connect those two into one, you know. And you're on the path, and I think it's just the way it's going to evolve. Like I see the potential of how it's going to evolve, and for the rest of your life, I'm just so excited to see what happens with that. So I can't keep me posted. Let's stay in touch, and just congratulations.
Thank you, Chase. Yeah, I don't think my project could have taken this shape without your class. So really big thank you to you. So
Thank you, Chase. Ricardo, first of all, let me start with a thank you. I want to start with thanking you because you exposed me to a poet that I wasn't aware, and I truly loved immediately. You know how much I resonated, you know, when you start like introducing me to all this beautiful poem. And as somebody that writes poem myself, I found so inspiring, you know, to find this poet that I never heard of, and the way he connects with, you know, everything you presented, you know, really with, you know, a part of a culture, you know, that he expressed so well in his poems. And then after that you introduced me of his paintings, which you were not even aware that he was also a painter. And that also resonated to me incredibly, because, you know, I'm a big lover of especially modern art, and I also enjoyed, you know, his painting, and I saw so much a connection. And I think the moment where you find the painting and the poems, you know, start thinking really connected also with you as a composer, because you were so clear of what you wanted to do, from the beginning when we started, you just didn't know how you were going to make this sound. And that was really the process that now it started developing. And I saw you through the 3 semester at the end, start connecting the poems, the painting, your culture, your view of what you were trying to do, and finding a shape in your ear. That was really beautiful. So I wanna thank you for introducing me to that first. Secondly, I want to thank you for the trust you gave me, and I feel you gave all of us. You are an example, which sometimes in our culture is not very common, because we always come with the pride, and we comes with sort of like stubbornness, and and I never felt that in you, and I think it's uncommon. And I feel like you were like so open, to every single thing I told you, and to everybody else. And that's an amazing, I think this is one of the best qualities you have as an artist. And I think it really came to your advantage at the end in what you just presented. So I want to really encourage you, very encourage you to stay this way, maintain this humbleness that you have of you, because there's such a richness to it, that you show, with it. And I think that's a really special quality you have, Ricardo. And I agree with Francisco. You blow me away. Like, this is so much more of what, at the end, the way you put together all the music, the paintings, this other painting, you as I told you, you pick some of my favorite painters, especially from the expressionist and the abstract expressionist, and everything makes so much sense. But one of the things I want you to expand a little bit, because it was the beginning of your project, was this idea of translating this poet to English, which is so difficult. And I think this process, in a way, then connected you to the music as well. And I want you to talk about this because, first of all, like you said, this is not a published composer in English. And now you kind of like open that door, to all of us to enjoy it, especially if you don't know Spanish. I feel like you did a great, amazing job in translating. But can you tell a little bit more? Because that's where everything started for you.
Sure. Thank you, Marco, for all those really kind words. And about the translating everything. I really felt like the project was like basically like 2 halves, like kind of writing 2 halves of something. I had, because to write kind of like an artful translation that comes across in English as naturally and as fluidly as it does in Spanish, you really have to take some risks and change things. And sometimes you can't be so true to the literal text in Spanish. And then there's the issue of like, running into problems with rhythm and meter and rhyme and things that don't transfer into English. But then, I have this additional component of music, where it's kind of like, if I lose something in the translation, I can put it back in the music. So if I lose something in that is present in Spanish, in the music, I can add it in elements, with Afro-Cuban folklore and, my kind of personal background, traditional Cuban music, but done in this very different way, in the same way that Feijó like writes his poetry, very informed by his folkloric studies like around the island, but his output is totally his own. Anyway, translating was a huge joy for me, and I keep doing this as a hobby, and I want to maybe as a future project kind of go the other way around, translate something into Spanish, and create some more music for that. So yeah,
I hope you can get some idea or opportunity to publish this poetry in English, because I think this is a poet that, to me personally, deserves much more attention. And so thank you for that, Maestro Danilo.
thank you.
Ricardo, congratulations.
Thank you, Danilo.
Ricardo, wow, what a fantastic growth that I witnessed in your journey. You know, a lot of you know, I say what I heard from everybody, your capacity to be involved in your own process of learning and the question that you ask, which is so part of what we're trying to encourage you, that the relationship between a mentor and a student is not just unidirectional, but it goes both ways. And you were a perfect example of that idea global. Our pedagogy deals with maintaining the classroom as a place that is life-sustaining. This is our life work and mind expanding. You see, a place where the goal is to mutually get to a liberation as a student and as a teacher to learn together. So you introduced me to this writer to this painted folklorist that I wasn't aware of. And I started to check out some of his material after that you taught me. You became the teacher in that moment. And that's the beauty about this program, you know. So I have heard tremendous growth in your, especially in the way the drums are coming up, the tuning and all of that. Man, it looks like you have made an impact on this, man. And it sounds like you make an impact. I love the disclaimer at the end. That's a very important disclaimer because a lot of times it could be the hidden trigger of why we choose certain project, and you're making sure that that's not connected to your intention to do this, because then we have to expand on that conversation. All right. Just because, you know, a lot of times when you transcribe something, you transcribe the best of somebody, but also the worst. Or his worst. So that's a beautiful disclaimer that you're saying. That's not my point of view, and I'm not saying that was a worst, you know, worst thing he said. I'm not trying to make it negative, but that you don't side with that part. Now, musically fantastic. I've seen growth compositionally, the way the way things are evolving, and there's a certain mystery, as Chase was saying, a narrative that is very, very unique. And yes, we'll buy that record. The only thing I want to leave you with a thought. This is chapter 1. I personally would like to see you exploring America. What was the name? This was this painter I met in Cuba from the avant-garde, Amelia Peláez.
Amelia Peláez.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really would like you to go that direction, because she's even more avant-garde than him.
Yeah.
You know, I check out his work. His work is very full of I would describe it like symbols, like nature, a lot of nature.
Yes.
It's beautiful. But
the
Amelia is like, okay.
They were friends.
Now here's what I think this project is so crucial to your life. It expands the concept of Latino culture in the United States. We as a Latino has been, you know, playing down to this curse, man, with the pineapples and the I love
Carmen
Lucy,
Miranda.
No disrespect, Carmen Miranda. I love Lucy syndrome. And every time you talk about Latin America, it has to be like you're dancing or you're moving. And they haven't really been a serious consideration about what we call Latino art, which is one of the most profound, as important, if not, I mean, I'm going to get in trouble right here, but it's not as important, but a crucial new movement that everywhere in the world, people got to check out, because it's the deepest. And you see all the Nobel Prize winner in the last period has been Latinos, the writing from Chile with Pablo Neruda. You go on and on. This part is not really embedded in the superficial way we think about Latin America. It's really damaging. And by doing this kind of project, you are actually making a case that for people to be curious and keep expanding on. I see this as an incredible potential for your life career, you know, to really, it's not just a homework, as somebody said. is really your life work, which is something we talk a lot about, Global. I am deeply, deeply profound, proud of you. I would it's not a criticism, but one thing I would expand for the viewers, as they call. You're doing so many little sort of things that I understand, Mela understand, but a lot of people can hear that as the same thing of avant-garde traditional. They're not hearing the sort of this. So what I would say when you apply, like I'm going into the 12A, the Abacua a little bit, I'm going to the Bembe, I'm gonna do into, there was one very danza oriented that you described. I'm gonna be working over this groove and create the invisibility of that groove. So people say, oh, okay, it's not just, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I would add to the project. It's missing. Because after a while, a lot of people don't know the subtleties of this. You know, and this is something to be studied. This is very serious material. So you yourself get deeper into that Afrocentric connection and then explain it. I'm working with this and I'm going to make it invisible. Boom, 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 and then make that invisible. And then people say, oh, okay. That I know, because you might be in a danger to say, oh, that sounds the same like so and so. Okay, that's my only comment. But congratulations, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Such great points. Thank you so much, Danilo.
Ricardo, and as a last note, your band, beautiful.
Yeah, killing.
Everybody, Alexandria's son.
They were amazing.
Beautiful, all the band, and you know, Noam, everybody.
Yeah,
you know, Chase. Wow,
they did
nice.
incredible. Yeah, it was
hey
amazing.
man, Chase, we're gonna have to talk. Hey Mela, Chase, it's like a sponge. This cat, it's like he's just like quiet. You know, wait a minute, hold it.
Anyway, Ricardo, really a pleasure. We're very, very proud of you and this work. Francisco, thank you for all your help. Thank you for being with us. And we gonna take a little 10 minutes, and then we will have another very special presentation by Francesca Remigi. But Ricardo, congratulations. Are you gonna be in Boston in this time? We need to
Oh yeah,
hang and talk more. Okay.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody.